One of the most difficult aspects of psychiatry, medicine, and mental health is treating addictions. In fact, it's probably easier to prevent an addiction from happening than treating one that has already begun to take place. I recently came across a spiritual book which has the sayings of the famous 20th century nun, Mother Teresa, and one of the quotes in there gives a spiritual basis to help prevent addictions from happening. It reads, "If there was more love, more unity, more peace, and more happiness within the family, there wouldn't be so many alcoholics and drug addicts." I find this so interesting for many reasons, especially that it hits on the truth that people may use alcohol or drugs to escape from the pain and hurt that they have in their life. And unfortunately, they find that they continue to use a substance to escape the pain and hurt, and it just takes over their brain and actions, and it becomes difficult to escape from the addiction once it takes root. I decided to break this statement down into smaller steps to try and gauge what we know from psychiatry and psychology that supports the statement. First of all, one of the terms that stands out is unity. And in mental health, this is a term that comes to mind when we do marriage counseling. The focus in marriage counseling is often treating the husband and wife as one unit. So they have shared goals, shared decisions. They're basically working together for common goals, and they have that unity between their marriage and between the husband and wife. So those goals may be in the relationship with other, it may be with how raising kids, it may be with how with dealing with families or friendships or other people. It may even deal with the spiritual life. For example, if there's inconsistency between the parenting styles, a child may go to one parent for one thing and then to another parent for another thing. Or maybe the parents get upset at each other for having different parenting styles or different ways of, if they get upset at each other and have a lot of negative emotions, the children can see these negative emotions and harbor those same anxieties, animosities, fears, worries. So it's important in particular for the husband and wife to be a unified couple, because this will spread out to other parts of the family. Next, the quote says, "If there is more peace." I think peace is such an important aspect of mental health. Unfortunately, there's not a medication that I can prescribe that just gives people to be at peace. Many times, anxiety, depression, mood problems, anger can take peace away from people. Maybe they have a conflict with a supervisor at work, with a teacher at school, with relationships with other people or those around them, and it can be difficult to have that sense of peace during those times. Certainly, medications may help to calm down some of the thoughts, some of the emotions, and maybe help one to be more calm and help them to get at peace, but there's not really a medication that will just give peace. The source of peace seems to be from God. One of the most prominent Christian saints says, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in God." God is really the source of peace for humanity, whether one is aware of it or not. And so in that aspect, if God is within the family, that may help to the family unit be more at peace. Next, the quote says that there's more happiness within the family. And so happiness is a term that can mean a little bit differently depending how you define it. But we'll just say maybe it could refer to celebrating one's successes or accomplishments. Perhaps it's being happy for another person's success. Maybe it's celebrating a birthday or anniversary, or maybe a graduation together. It could be just some technique that sort of uplifts the other person. Maybe it's also deals with the notion that a family that prays together stays together. She also says that there's more love. And I left this part last just because there can be different impressions of what love is and the definition of love. Love is not just romantic relationships or following your passions and interests. I think St. Paul in his epistle to the Corinthians says love well when he describes it as love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. To accurately describe love in a short video like this is not really going to do it justice, but we can see that some of the characteristics of love that may entail, it may involve someone to be patient, to be kind, seems to be encouraging and wanting the best for others. It also appears to entail sacrifices, and so it seems like that are part of the characteristics that are important to be in the family and the family unit to help prevent addictions from happening. Now, some of the data I have about people who use alcohol are a little bit surprising. In the United States, there are millions of injuries each year due to alcohol-related problems, and there's also tens of thousands of deaths due to alcohol. Whites have the highest rates of alcohol use, and men are more likely to be heavy drinkers. Also, about 50% of all homicides and 25% of all suicides are in relation to alcohol use. Now again, as a mental health provider, it can be really difficult to treat alcohol or addictions. Usually the most effective way is these 12-step programs, and the 12-step programs entail primarily a spiritual approach to address the addiction. And so if we take this quote here from potentially the sayings of Mother Teresa, we can see that there needs to be love, there needs to be unity, there needs to be peace, happiness. Those may all help prevent addictions from happening. It'll probably minimize the pain and hurt that people are experiencing in their life, so they won't need to escape from reality by using drugs or alcohol or things like that. I hope you found this beneficial. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this video, for more videos like this one.